April 15, 1945. The Bavarian countryside stretched endlessly under an overcast sky, punctuated only by the rhythmic rumble of American truck engines echoing across rolling hills. The air carried the scent of diesel fuel mixed with spring rain, while mud-caked convoy wheels carved fresh tracks through war-torn roads. In the back of a canvas-covered transport truck, 18 German women sat in stunned silence, their Wehrmacht auxiliary uniforms bearing the dust and defeat of a crumbling Reich. These Wehrmachtshelferinnen, female auxiliaries who had served as communications operators, anti-aircraft gunners, and administrative personnel, had been captured just days earlier as Allied forces swept through southern Germany. As the convoy ground to a halt at a temporary American processing camp, the German women caught their first glimpse of something that would shatter every assumption they held about their captors and their own understanding of a woman's place in war. Behind the wheel of the lead truck sat not an American soldier, but an American woman in full military uniform, her sleeves rolled up, hands steady on the steering wheel of the massive 2.5-ton vehicle. Across the motor pool, other women in olive drab uniforms moved with practiced efficiency, checking tire pressure, conducting maintenance inspections, and coordinating vehicle assignments with the confidence of seasoned military personnel. The contradiction was profound and unsettling. Throughout the war, Nazi propaganda had painted American women as weak, frivolous creatures obsessed with luxury and incapable of serious contribution to their nation's war effort. German women had been told that while they served the fatherland in supporting roles, manning communications equipment, operating searchlights, and maintaining administrative functions, American women remained safely ensconced in their homes, contributing nothing of substance to their nation's military might. Yet here, in the muddy reality of a Bavarian prisoner camp, was undeniable evidence of something far different. The transformation of American women during World War II represented one of history's most dramatic societal shifts. By 1945, over 350,000 American women served in uniform across all branches of the military. Within the Women's Army Corps alone, 150,000 women had taken on roles that would have been unthinkable just 5 years earlier. The WAC encompassed more than 200 enlisted occupational specialties and 60 officer classifications, ranging from truck drivers and mechanics to radio operators and intelligence analysts. These women drove jeeps through combat zones, maintained aircraft engines, operated complex radio equipment, and coordinated massive logistical operations that kept American forces supplied and mobile across multiple theaters of war. For the captured German auxiliaries, witnessing American women confidently operating military vehicles represented a fundamental challenge to everything they believed about national strength and feminine capability. In Nazi Germany, women's military service remained strictly auxiliary. They could operate anti-aircraft guns but were forbidden from combat roles, could maintain communication equipment but were excluded from strategic decision-making positions. The sight of American women not just driving military trucks, but commanding them, maintaining them, and integrating seamlessly into the logistical backbone of the world's most powerful military force suggested a level of female empowerment that contradicted core Nazi ideological premises. The captured Wehrmachtshelferinnen had expected to encounter American soldiers flush with the easy abundance of a nation, untouched by bombing campaigns or food shortages. They had been told that American forces succeeded only because of superior material resources, not superior organizational capability or individual competence. What they witnessed instead was something far more unsettling to their worldview: evidence of a society that could mobilize not just its material resources, but its human resources with unprecedented thoroughness, including the capabilities of half its population that their own system had systematically underutilized. The motor pool became a symbol of this broader transformation. American women drove everything from nimble jeeps to massive cargo trucks, from ambulances racing to aid stations, to tank transporters carrying damaged armor, to repair facilities. They navigated treacherous mountain roads, coordinated complex convoy movements, and maintained vehicles under challenging field conditions. These women had not been pressed into service as a desperate last resort, as German women increasingly were in the war's final months, but had volunteered for military service when their nation was ascendant, when their contributions represented expansion of opportunity rather than emergency mobilization. Statistical evidence supported what the German prisoners observed. By war's end, American women comprised 2.3% of total military personnel, with many serving in Europe where captured German auxiliaries would encounter them directly. The Airwacs alone numbered over 32,000 at their peak in 1945, representing an organizational achievement that dwarfed comparable German efforts. These numbers represented not just military necessity, but a systematic integration of female capabilities into America's war machine that had no parallel in Nazi Germany, is increasingly desperate attempts to maintain fighting strength. The psychological impact on German prisoners was profound and lasting. They had entered military service believing their nation represented the pinnacle of organizational efficiency and ideological clarity. Nazi propaganda had consistently portrayed Germany as a society that understood proper gender roles and maximized each citizen's contribution according to natural biological imperatives. Yet here was evidence of a competing model that seemed to achieve superior results through what Nazi ideology would have condemned as unnatural role confusion. Documentation from prisoner interrogations reveals the depth of this ideological shock. Many German auxiliaries expressed genuine bewilderment at American women's military competence, questioning whether their captors represented an aberration or whether their own understanding of female capability had been fundamentally flawed. Some reported feeling simultaneously impressed and threatened by American women's obvious confidence and competence in traditionally masculine military roles. As days passed in the processing camp, the captured German women observed American military efficiency up close. Supply trucks arrived with clockwork regularity, driven by uniformed women who unloaded equipment with mechanical precision. Communication networks functioned flawlessly under female operators who coordinated between multiple command levels simultaneously. Medical personnel, many of them women, processed prisoners with professional competence that contrasted sharply with the increasingly chaotic conditions German auxiliaries had experienced in their own military's final months. The symbolic power of the truck steering wheel became impossible to ignore. In Nazi ideology, the machine represented masculine dominance over nature, with mechanical competence serving as a marker of male capability. Yet here were American women who clearly possessed complete mastery over complex mechanical systems, who could maintain and operate equipment under challenging conditions, and who integrated seamlessly into organizational structures that depended on mechanical reliability for success. The steering wheel, gripped confidently in female hands, represented not an aberration, but a systematic redefinition of capability and social organization. This confrontation with alternative possibilities created profound dissonance among captured German auxiliaries. They had served their nation faithfully within prescribed boundaries, accepting limitations on their roles as natural and necessary. Now they witnessed evidence that these limitations might have been artificial constraints rather than biological imperatives, that their own society had potentially wasted vast reserves of female capability through ideological rigidity rather than practical necessity. The abundance of American military supplies provided another point of contrast. German auxiliaries had grown accustomed to chronic shortages, inadequate equipment, insufficient food, deteriorating facilities. American military installations, by contrast, seemed to overflow with material abundance. Vehicles arrived regularly for maintenance, spare parts remained readily available, and food supplies appeared limitless. Yet this abundance was clearly not automatic. It required sophisticated logistical coordination, mechanical expertise, and organizational competence. The fact that American women participated fully in maintaining this system of abundance suggested that their own society's material limitations might have been self-imposed through exclusion of available human resources. The irony was not lost on more perceptive German prisoners. Their nation had prided itself on military efficiency and organizational superiority, yet their captors demonstrated organizational capabilities that seemed to surpass German achievements while simultaneously employing human resources that German society had systematically underutilized. American women did not appear to be serving in military roles as a desperate wartime expedient, but as an integrated component of a military system that had achieved global dominance. As weeks passed, captured German auxiliaries observed American women performing increasingly complex tasks. Female mechanics diagnosed engine problems and conducted repairs that required sophisticated technical knowledge. Female radio operators maintained communication networks spanning continents. Female drivers navigated challenging terrain while maintaining formation discipline that rivaled their male counterparts. Each observation reinforced the growing realization that American military success might stem not just from material advantages, but from more complete utilization of human potential. The psychological transformation was gradual but irreversible. German women who had accepted restricted roles as natural began questioning whether these restrictions had been necessary or beneficial. They had sacrificed broader opportunities for the promise of serving a superior cause. Yet their captors demonstrated that expanded female roles could coexist with military effectiveness and social stability. The cognitive dissonance grew increasingly difficult to reconcile with Nazi ideological certainties. Historical records document the long-term impact of these encounters. Many former German auxiliaries, when interviewed decades later, identified their observation of American military women as a pivotal moment in their understanding of female potential. The sight of American women confidently operating military vehicles had challenged fundamental assumptions about gender roles, national efficiency, and ideological superiority that took years to fully process and integrate. The transformation was not merely personal, but represented a broader collision between competing visions of social organization. Nazi Germany had constructed an elaborate ideological framework justifying female exclusion from significant military roles, arguing that such restrictions optimized national strength and preserved essential feminine qualities. American military integration of women challenged these premises at the most practical level, demonstrating that expanded female roles could enhance rather than compromise military effectiveness. The motor pool remained a powerful symbol throughout this confrontation. American women behind the wheel represented mobility, competence, and integration into systems of power that their own society had denied them. The steady rumble of engines under female control became a constant reminder that alternative arrangements were not only possible, but demonstrably effective. The mechanical complexity of military vehicles, mastered by American women with apparent ease, suggested that artificial barriers rather than natural limitations had constrained their own opportunities. As captured German auxiliaries eventually faced repatriation to a defeated homeland, many carried with them memories that would prove impossible to forget. They had witnessed an alternative model of female capability that contradicted everything their own society had taught them about natural gender roles and optimal social organization. The sight of American women driving military trucks through the Bavarian countryside represented more than individual competence. It demonstrated systematic integration of human resources that their own nation had failed to achieve. The sound of truck engines fading into the distance carried with it the echo of possibilities unrealized and assumptions challenged. In the end, the captured German women had encountered not just military defeat, but ideological contradiction that would reshape their understanding of what women could achieve when societies chose to expand rather than restrict their opportunities. The wheels of American military vehicles, guided by confident female hands, had carried them not just toward processing camps, but toward recognition that their own potential had been artificially constrained by the very system they had served with such dedication. The liberation was double-edged: freedom from the immediate constraints of captivity, but also liberation from certainties that had defined their understanding of natural order and social organization. The American women they had observed represented not just individual achievement, but collective proof that human potential, when fully utilized regardless of gender, could achieve outcomes that exceeded the capabilities of societies that limited participation based on ideological preconceptions rather than practical competence. In the quiet aftermath of war, as Europe began the long process of reconstruction, the memory of American women confidently driving military trucks through German countryside stood as testament to the transformative power of expanded opportunity and the price of artificial limitation. The steering wheel, symbol of control and direction, had revealed itself to be not the exclusive province of any single gender, but a tool that responded equally well to competence and determination wherever they might be found.